This is Broken Roads, or rather the demo for Broken Roads. I saw it, I think it was being advertised during the Steam sale or something, I don't know, but I thought I would grab it because it looked really interesting. It is a post-apocalyptic RPG set in Australia, and I believe made by Australians. So it'll have a little bit of a different perspective from some of the other stuff that I've played, though I guess our modern vision of post-apocalypse really was originally invented by Australians. The whole Mad Max thing. We owe a lot to Australia for the way we imagine the apocalypse. So let's hit new game and see how this goes. Okay, it's called Drop Bear.
My nan called it the end of time.
I approve of that.
Dad called it a waste of good beer. Me, I called it another day in bloody paradise. It's been 100 years, or less, since society had its last hurrah. We've rebuilt, sometimes better, sometimes worse, with nothing but hard yakka and the sweat off our backs. There's been bloodshed too, of course. People who will always be willing to kill for what they didn't do. But that's not most of us. We're the farmers, the brewers, the protectors and the builders. The people who keep this great land connected, one town at a time. So you survive. You make do. You live with tough choices and you don't look back. Because the next town is 200 kilometers away, and mate, you passed the last refuge 3 days ago. There's no good or evil. No right or wrong, only the path you choose to travel down these broken roads.
All right. So this is giving me big Icewind Dale energy. Okay, welcome to the Steam demo of Broken Roads. We're delighted to present the current state of the game. There's still some time before release. This experience and many gameplay elements will be subject to change over the coming months. We'd love to hear your feedback, etc., etc. We called ourselves Drop Bear because we're awesome. Okay. So I choose an origin. I could be a hired gun, a surveyor, barter crew, or jackaroo. Welcome to Australia. Okay, hired gun is the only one they let us choose at this stage, so we'll continue. I can decide what I want to look at. So one thing that's interesting too is I think it's pretty clear that the characters and stuff in this game are 3D modeled, but this game seems to be inspired by 2D games from like the 90s, and everything is look. You see the textures are all designed to make like a screenshot of this look like it was hand drawn, which is fascinating. I think I'll pick this one and just one of my common names that I choose just to go quick. Introduction to the moral compass. What? A 360-degree view of possible dialogue options, attitudes you can hold, and decisions you can make throughout your journey. Utilitarian, humanist, nihilist, Machiavellian. So, like, utilitarian, I think that means, like, the best for everybody. Machiavellian means, how do I get ahead at the expense of other people? Humanist is, like, really sort of believing in humanity and their potential. Nihilist is nothing matters. Right? So, this is fascinating. We'll have to learn how this works. Okay. The golden arc and okay, let's go back. I guess I want to read this whole thing. Like I usually try to skip past a lot of text, but I feel like they're probably explaining something important here. So I'm going to read this. Sorry, if you're actually, I think I'm the one, like between me and everyone in the audience, I'm the one who likes reading the least. I think everyone else would probably rather I read this stuff. So here we go. It's divided into 4 parts: utilitarian, nihilist, Machiavellian, and humanist. With the golden arc representing your worldview, often overlapping different quadrants. Where a decision lies is not always clear-cut, and the borders matter. It's entirely possible to be a utilitarian, focused on the greater good for all, which will suit options in that quadrant close to the humanist border. Likewise, you can be in the utilitarian quadrant, but tending far more to focus on the interests of your own group, with decisions tending towards the Machiavellian border. Broken Roads doesn't reduce things to a simple right and wrong or good and evil, and this is reflected in how you can handle the scenarios you face on your journey. The golden arc in the center represents your worldview. Each decision you make can affect your position on the compass, rotating the worldview slightly towards the decision you made. Okay, so is it always? So it's always shaped like an arc. So if you're dead center Machiavellian, that means that you have some nihilist in you and some utilitarian, but no humanist. Okay, so this is like, so these are opposed to each other diametrically, and if they're bordering, you can sort of drift between them. Incredible Mouse in the chat, by the way, says, I don't see the point of a nihilist compass, which I think is a joke. Congratulations. Okay. So at the center of the compass are brightly illuminated areas of moral tendencies, which allow your character to make lower-level moral decisions or expressions of ideas would otherwise fall outside their worldview. Note that the further a decision is from the center of your worldview, the larger impact it will have on shifting it. Okay, so if I'm in this zone and I make one of these choices up here, that'll shift me a lot more than if I make one of these little borderline choices up here. The more decisions you make close to the center of your worldview, the more narrow-minded you'll become. Okay, so it's not always this, like, what is that, 120-degree arc? It can widen and narrow too. I love using the phrase narrow-minded for this. That's great. Making certain high-level decisions and moral traits unavailable. Okay, so if you narrow... Okay, so certain choices are... So my only choices available are the choices that are within here? Or... Huh. Interesting. The four moral quote. They're spending a lot of time explaining their moral system. You can clearly... Like, this feels like they made this game because they loved this idea. You know? Okay, so humanist. Each person's dignity matters most. I choose all meaning, and thus what matters, but what is inalienable is that every person has worth. For a humanist, each person's dignity matters most simply through existing and being as a being experiencing the world. Utilitarian, everyone's happiness combined matters most. The greatest good for the greatest number, right? Okay, so Machiavellian, my group matters most. So utilitarian versus Machiavellian, that was like compassionate versus pragmatic under the Service and State of Decay 2. That was what that was all about. So the ends justify the means if it favors our pursuit and maintenance of power. Our group matters most, regardless of the cost to others. That's what I meant by pragmatic in State of Decay 2. And then nihilist, I matter most. Given there's nothing outside of each individual human experience, nothing ultimately matters, and that doesn't bother me. Thus, for the nihilist, I matter most. Okay, so nihilist is opposed to utilitarian, because utilitarian is the most number of people is what matters, and nihilist is nobody matters but me. So it's like the size of the world shrinks and grows that way. Whereas humanist and Machiavellian is my group versus everyone being equal. So maybe actually it's humanist versus Machiavellian that was compassionate versus pragmatic. And utilitarian versus nihilist is just a thing we didn't represent in State of Decay. Okay, cool. So, okay, now we've got some morality questions. All right. Okay, so you just picked up a job to escort a captured thief. You get to talking, and he tells you the sad tale of how he came to be captured. Sounds like he was not really the perp, and actually makes a pretty good case for his innocence. He begs you to free him. Okay, so a humanist will free him and argue his case. The nihilist will be like, you've been paid to do a job, and you plan to see it through. Despite his appeal and potential innocence, prioritize your reputation and ensure you get paid. Utilitarian, promise him you'll plead his case. It doesn't serve anyone's interest to execute an innocent man, and it doesn't serve yours if he is in fact guilty. The best you can do is assure justice, and your rep stays intact. Machiavelli means have him make an offer. Okay, so pay me to let you go. All I want to do is finish the job. I'm going to let you go, or I'm going to argue your case. So I would probably say argue the case, because I'm only getting one person's perspective. I need to get other people's perspective. I think that would be valuable. So I'll pick the utilitarian option. After a series of raids on caravans passing near your home, you put together a scouting party. You've caught a bandit leader and one of his raiders. The leader pleads for release, pledging to comply with your terms. Do you free him? Execute everyone. Take them back to town to stand trial. It's not your call to make. Escort them far away, warning that if you catch them here again, they're dead. Tell them that you let one of them go free, him or his raider, and he gets to choose which one lives. So you're just being a jerk, basically. I mean, yeah, stand trial. So I think I just narrowed my point of view because I chose 2 utilitarians in a row. A nearby town set as a new chief, and he's starting to flex his muscles. He sends an envoy with a threat: pay tribute or suffer his wrath. He clearly has the military strength to back it up. Do you pay? Okay, so let him come and take it. Is nihilist. Machiavellian is, and this is like, oh yeah, just daring him to come and take it. Negotiating and escorting him back. Concealed, your top fighters follow. In town, probably execute the envoy. Display his head on a spike as a warning to others. No, not doing that one. Humanist. Send scouts to see if he can enforce his demands. If he can, pay up. If he can't, send him a mocking reply and dare him to come and take it. Utilitarian, send an envoy in return and try to negotiate with the new chief. War hurts everyone, and maybe you can work out a way for mutual benefit. I think in this one, so I love that none of them say just pay, right? Like, none of them are just like knuckle under. They all are like, no, I mean, this guy's being a jerk and we're going to acknowledge it. Utilitarian is the most likely to pay. But I think that we should choose a humanist option and basically put him in his place if he, if he can't. Yeah, basically, we need to show a little bit more courage than the utilitarian one. We need to show, like, if we don't think he can back up his demands, then we should make an example of him a little bit, but not in a violent way, just in a mocking way. That's more my style. Okay, question. So Radical Court says, I wonder if people's choices would change if they didn't label the overarching philosophy along with the choice. That's right. Well, see, that's the tough part of something like this, because, like, when you're building a moral system like this, every association you make, every choice you make as a creator of the system is going to have implications that people in the audience might disagree with. And so, as a general, like, my favorite thing, is we didn't expose the moral system that underpins State of Decay 2, because I didn't want people to look at those judgments and decide that we didn't understand our own moral system, because I've been that player who's like, these people are labeling this stuff all wrong, or they're saying something's evil that I think is good, and vice versa, and that always kicks people out. So this is dangerous, making these choices explicit. I think that if they're going to give you a thing like this, though, they do need to tell you what choices you're making. Because I wouldn't like it if I misinterpreted one of these, like they intended it to be Machiavellian, but I read it as utilitarian, and then I choose it, and now I'm Machiavellian. I would feel judged by the game. So if the game is going to be judging me and telling me what I am, I really appreciate them letting me know in advance what implications these choices are going to have, so that I can think all the way through. Okay, like, I would have thought of this as the humanist choice. They think it's Machiavellian. That makes me rethink it in the context of their world, and makes me, give me the information. Like that's so. I think that basically, if you're going to expose the outcome to the player like this, you need to expose the inputs. Otherwise, players are going to feel judged harshly and poorly, and that's not going to feel right to them as players. So anyway, a child in the village has started showing symptoms of the plague. The town chose to quarantine him and his family, but you caught him sneaking out of the house to play with other kids. What now? Let him go with a warning. If he's contagious, you're all infected now too. If he's not, no harm done. Rally some neighbors and evict the entire family from town. Make an example of their carelessness. Send him back to his house under careful guard. The whole family will have to leave town if they continue to put everyone at risk. Return to his house and explain to the family what will happen to the town if they're all infected. Make them see reason. The humanist choice is more likely what I would do. Like, you don't just let him go. You have to tell them they've got to take this seriously. But we're not going to evict them yet. Not unless we prove that something bad has happened. And I just don't like, when it comes to punishing someone, I do like in the previous choices, I chose to put people on trial rather than making summary judgments myself. This is kind of in that same zone, but there's so much risk of them being judged too harshly. I kind of want to choose this. Okay. You've been captured by people who've clearly gone mad, finding yourself in a pen along with a Dew farmer you've met before, a mercenary stripped of his weapons, and a terrified young family. The captors assemble a massive pyre, indicating their intent for a twisted sacrifice. Noticing a guard's distraction, you're certain you can escape on your own, but every person you bring with you increases the chances you'll get caught. Take advantage of the distraction to try to get everyone out, saving as many as you can. Slip away on your own. The others will simply have to fend for themselves. Convince the merc to come with you. The Dew farmer can likely find his own way out, but the family will be nothing but a liability. Get the family out first. The other captives should be able to handle themselves. Okay, so I'm caught between utilitarian, getting everyone out, and prioritizing the people who need the most help. Those two feel the best to me. Because and really, so this doesn't. In both of these cases, you're hoping everyone gets out. There's no, like, in these ones, you're deliberately abandoning people who, and you know they're not going to get out on their own. In this one, you're deliberately leaving people behind. I like that these two are both saying, our intent is for everyone to get out. And the question is just, in practical terms, do you think it's better to try to get everyone out yourself? Or is it better to focus your efforts on the people who need you the most? And it's like, which one do you think will lead to the best outcome? So this is less of a moral consideration and more of a practical consideration. I think I'm going to... Of course, if we're trying to... Everyone helping each other in practical terms actually probably seems more likely to succeed than leaving some people out of it. If anything, like, leaving some people out might lead them to sabotaging you. So Renethcord says, if a player thinks that whichever philosophy is right or wrong beforehand, I feel like that being told the categories might affect their choices. Yeah, so basically, so Renethcord, you are right that, like, knowing, like, for like I keep, even though I keep agreeing with the utilitarian option, I actually really don't, when people try to apply utilitarianism practically in the world, like, you get a lot of people who sort of, like, have kind of weird utopian visions of the world who use utilitarianism to justify weird stuff. And I don't like it. So I am finding myself trying to find an excuse not to choose utilitarian, even when I agree with it, because I don't like endorsing utilitarianism. Because I think there's some ways, like, it all comes down to how you calculate the greatest good, and people have weird ways of calculating that, and they can lead you down some weird moral paths that I don't like. And so, yeah, so that is having that effect. And so basically, so what I'm saying, Renethcord, I think is if you're going to expose the outcome, you have to expose the inputs. But if you're suggesting that it might alter people's choices to show them what the inputs are, I agree. But I think that if you decided that you wanted to remove these labels and just have the player make the raw choices here, then also you need to remove this. You also need to remove the output. Like, you basically, I think the two are joined at the hip. I think you either tell the player what the inputs are and tell them the outcome, or don't tell them what the inputs are and don't tell them the outcome. Now, you can have the choices have outcomes. You can have them have practical outcomes in the story. You can have characters who agree or disagree with you. And if you want to have a system like this under the surface, so you can categorize characters and say, this collection of characters all disagree with what you did, because under the surface I've labeled this as Machiavellian, and these are people who don't like Machiavellian choices. Like, you can totally do that and have it have an outcome in the story. I'm just saying, don't tell the player you are a utilitarian because of the choices you made, and that has gameplay impact if you don't tell them which choices are going to lead to the utilitarian outcome, because it just feels you're just running such a risk of getting something wrong in the mind of the player, and then you judge them in a way that makes them feel unfair. It's okay if they get mad at a character for disagreeing with them. If a character says, you're wrong for doing that, they're like, screw you, you're wrong. But if the game tells them they're wrong, or the game tells them they have a philosophy they don't believe in, then they get angry at the game, which means they're angry at you, which means they want to put the game away and not play it anymore. So let them get mad at the character. Let the characters in the world be the voice of morality, not the game itself, unless you give them all of the tools to understand what's going on. Anyway, let's get the family out first, because I don't like being labeled utilitarian. Let's just incur that consequence of the system. You've discovered a cache of pre-apocalypse supplies in an abandoned farmhouse. You can't carry it all back on your own, so you enlist a few friends from town to help. When you return to the cache, you find a group of emaciated scavengers in the process of looting the place themselves. Do you let them take the supplies? It sounds like I'm much better off than them. No way. Threaten the scavengers. If they don't let you have it, kill them. Let them take the supplies, but secretly follow them back to their home. What's there? You can loot their other goods and kill them all. That's just awful. Let them go. They're starving and clearly need the supplies more than you do. Plus, they had no way of knowing you found them first. Utilitarian, tell them you found the place first and offer to split the takings. Better to get less than you wanted than to spill. Yeah, so I'll pick humanists. Let them go. It's fine. Yeah, I don't have any claim on this stuff. It's if I haven't transported it back to my home yet, it's not mine. So, yeah. So now that has labeled me as mostly utilitarian and humanist, which seems fine. Like, yeah, I don't love the label, but it does seem fair. So let's continue. We are spending so much time just learning how these systems work. This is a lot. Okay. There are 6 attributes in Broken Roads: strength, ability, resolve, and awareness, intelligence, and charisma. I don't know why I said and before awareness. I guess I thought 4 was equal to 6. Attributes are the basis from which skills and other statistics are derived. Each skill tree starting values are calculated for 2 attributes. So my fortitude is strength and agility. My temperance is resolve and awareness. My wisdom is intelligence and charisma. Each origin... Okay, this is the kind of thing you'd want from like a tabletop RPG. Each origin story comes with unique bonuses for a hired gun. Those are a bunch of stuff. And the example to the right with 8 in resolve and 13 in awareness... All skills in the temperance tree start off at 21. Okay, so temperance is 21. Are these the temperance ones? So they'll start at 21, and then you could have added some stuff to shooting mastery. In combat, movement points are derived from agility and strength, while action points are agility and intelligence. Keep that in mind. Okay. The punt skill. What? One of the unique skills in Broken Roads is the ability to have a punt, essentially taking a risk on something uncertain. Your player character has a pool of punt points they can draw on. Okay, I mean, I like this system. This is fun. If they need to attempt a skill check they just fall short of, or if they want to increase the accuracy of a particular attack in combat, during dialogue, active skill checks which fall within the range of a character's skills, plus points will be displayed with a unique icon alongside the text. This will allow you to spend punt points for a chance to succeed at a task that would otherwise be unable to perform. Okay, so I like that. It seems... I generally like to reduce randomness in things like this, just because it just feels really frustrating to make a story choice and have it just come out based on a roll of a die. Like, like shooting with a gun, yeah, there is a lot of randomness involved in that. I don't love randomness in other places, so I like the idea that you can at least put your thumb on the scale. Punt is derived from charisma, plus any additional points in the punt skill. Each skill doesn't directly equal 1 additional punt point. Okay, got it. Okay, close this. Okay, so now I've got to make my character. I'm getting... this is exhausting. Okay, so... So I've got a bunch of basic stuff here. So, resolve. This is my health, damage reduction, and stuff. So I want to play with the punt system. So let's get my charisma up a bunch. I also tend to really like having action points. So let's get agility and intelligence up. And just let's bump my intelligence just a little bit more. And then my skills, I've got 30 skill points. Let's get punt up at least to another level. Wait, I can't tell. Wait, when does it hit the diamond? I can't tell when it hits the diamond. Oh, wait. I think... There. Okay, so punt... When punt is at level 25, I get an extra... So these diamonds here don't line up with these diamonds up here. That's strange. Okay, so Deadeye. That's for making really precise shots. Opportunist. A free swipe at an enemy who's running away. Oh, that's cool. Doing a runner, as they say. Vigilance. Oh, okay. This is... Oh, okay. This is Overwatch, basically. Shooting mastery. So this is just basic goodness at shooting. So let's get this one up to 25. So it's like 25 unlocks something. So let's get that up to 25. Let's get opportunist up to 25. Let's get... I mean, my charisma's high. Get leadership up to 20. I do really like... I can't get up to 25. So let's get leadership up to 25. And I've only got 5 points left. So let's make some... Barbican. It's defenses. Let's go... Let's start getting vigilance up. Okay, start my journey. Yes, we're actually starting the game. Let's start the game.
You made it. Good. My name's Jake Anderson, and this here's Bally Hall.
As if we didn't already know this game was from Australia, something is called Bally Hall. Truth to tell, I wasn't sure you'd make it. By the way, I cannot do an Australian accent. I want to do an Australian accent. I want to so badly, but I'm bad at it. I'm so bad at it. Between the wildlife and the attacks we've seen, that was just something from England a little bit. Thought you might have met with some misadventure, something like that. I can't do it. I can't do the accent.
Right. So the job's simple and the pay's good. You'll ride along to Kokobee with a couple of my scouts as security for Cole, the engineer fixing our radio. In Kokobee, you'll be meeting Nick, the mayor of Brookton, and escorting them both back home.
Again, Kokobee, of course. The most Australian-sounding names in the world. It's an easy job, not expecting much trouble, but better safe than sorry. Let me introduce you around. Ella's over here. She's my second. My cousin, too. Her and her sister, Mad, is keeping watching the crow's nest. Don't get on their bad side. Hired gun for the trip to Kokobee. Figured it couldn't hurt. The situation being what it is. Gonna be with you. Maybe give you the tour. That'd be good. Pleasure to meet you. All right. So she's gruff, and I'm ready when you are. I'm going to be skipping as much dialogue as I can because we've already spent a ton of time getting into this game.
Let's go.
Okay, so just going to be left-clicking to move around. White circles will appear on the ground. I can pan the camera with WASD. The bottom left are the icons for my characters. And also icons for party management, moral compass, journal, map, and menu. So I got my journal here, which, this is the journal. Keeps track of my objectives and things. I've got to meet a bunch of people. Okay, so I can WASD around like this. Wait, who's this guy? This one of the people I got to meet? That's Cole. Who's this then?
Cole, meet your new protector. We need extra muscle for our trip to Brookton. Given Jake and Jones here headed down older side way to see why they're so quiet. Hired this one on to keep an eye on you.
That's bloody fantastic. I can't say bloody in an American accent. It just sounds stupid. So yeah, whatever. Powering up solar panels. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. See you later.
Plenty of time to chat on the way to Kokobee.
That's right. I just want to see how this game works. Like, if I'm playing, when I'm playing this on my own, can I just leave like this? No, this is the exit. Okay. So when I'm playing this game on my own, of course, I'll read everything and pay a lot of attention. But what I really want to do on this stream is just get into some of the, like, combat gameplay. Like, I want to see, you know, how they make the game work. So that's her sister Mad in the crow's nest.
Mad, new hired gun. Going to be coming with Mishti and me to Kokobee.
Okay. Are you babysitting Ella or is she sitting you? I'm a good teammate. That remains to be seen. Like I'm the one who needs a sitter, Mad. Wasn't that long ago I was changing your nappies. See, I can't say nappies in an American accent either. It sounds ridiculous. Before you go, I need you to make sure the perimeter's secure. Don't want any unpleasant surprises. What do you need? Walk a circle around the outside of the fence. Check it for holes. If a dingo can fit through, call it out. We'll patch it up. No need for you to get your precious hands dirty. Just need your eyes. Watch the fence. I'll get the job done. All right.
That's all we're gonna get out of her. Come on, let's go.
So, yeah.
Name's Jonesy, mate. Who are you?
So that let's go. There's a really interesting, weird detail in the vowel in go from an Australian accent that I definitely can't do. It just feels like they're making it into a diphthong that's just a little different from everybody else's O sound. Jake hired her to give us a hand on the way to Kokobi. She's pretty new to the life. Got tips for her? New gun for the good guys. Glad to hear it. You ever used a weapon on a person before? Yeah, loads of times.
So my advice is this. Time comes to throw down, don't blink.
Got it. Let's see here. We'll find a way to help them. I like your idealism. Okay. So, talking about how we're going to kill a bunch of people. Gotta break a... See, this is where utilitarianism breaks down for me. Gotta break a few eggs to make that new world cake. No. All right.
Don't let him fool you. Under that bloodthirsty exterior lurks, well, heart of a killer.
Ah, you know me so well, Ellie.
Okay, so let's
Can't
talk
you?
to him later. So I get the sense that they're probably deliberately introducing a bunch of characters with different moral attitudes so that you can sort of frame a lot of the decisions you'll be making here.
Fresh meat? For dinner? You know I gave up human flesh, Ella. Oh, I'm Mishti. They call me Dreamer.
Okay, so this is Dreamer. Pleased to meet you. And I think she's joking about eating people. Let's just be an idiot and get some clarity on that. Yeah, she's never eaten human flesh. Why are you called Dreamer? Ella's nickname for me, yeah? Made the mistake of telling him my plans to hike up across the Nullarbor. And she told me I was an impossible dreamer. Name stuck. It was a joke, sure, but I like the name, like the role. Seems like dreams are in short supply these days, yeah? Got to have something to look forward to. Living for your dreams is naive. Good thing, yeah? To be part of the group?
Anyway, my job here, such as it is, consists of two main gigs. What I do best is convince people to save their bullets. I diffuse fights, make sure people get along, keep their blood inside their skins. The other job? Cleaning up this mess.
Okay, yeah, so she's the opposite of the last person we met. She's not a killer. She wants people to get along.
Last fella was a bit of a legend in his own lunchbox.
Sure, I'm happy to help with whatever they're asking. I'm not reading everything, so... Okay. So let's... Okay,
Later.
I'm going to get back to it. Okay, so now I've got something to do, right? Side quests. Clear the scrub from the camel paddock. Try a little target practice with Jonesy. Refill the water in the bathtub. And then investigate around the perimeter. Okay, so I'm kind of hoping that some of that is going to lead to me actually learning how, like, the combat systems work. Oh, hey, there's a guitar. I just makes a little noise. Okay, so the camel paddock. So, are there camels in Australia? I mean, I know they're not. They can't be native to Australia, but did people like import camels to Australia and then, like, are there really like a bunch of camels out there?
This scrub looks like it's invading the camel's enclosure a bit.
Okay, so I'm gonna clear it up.
Takes a few minutes and the paddock is cleared. The scouts will no doubt be happy with your handiwork.
Okay, so this game is doing something similar to what, say, Disco Elysium did, which is using the dialogue system to control interactions that are not dialogue. But it's interesting, they've got a narrator who talks you through it. Okay, so it looks like this is the shooting range. So is he in charge of this? All right, let's do some target practice. Okay, optimal range. So different weapons are more effective depending on the distance of the target. Pistols and shotguns work up close, rifles from a medium distance, and sniper rifles from further away. Experiment with different weapons and distances. Okay, so right now I'm using a rifle. Okay, so if I switch to a melee weapon, then I'll automatically approach things that I want to shoot at. So I don't have enough action points. How many? Do I have 0 action points? Okay, so these guys don't get turns because they're mannequins. Okay, so this says it'll cost me 3 action points. Where do I keep track of the action points I have? I'm assuming that switching weapons... Oh, yeah, that cost 1 action point. So that's why I ran out of action points, was because of that. So 58%, 26%. Okay, so this one, who I'm flanking, is easier to hit. This one's close enough that my rifle is actually a disadvantage, and this one is behind cover. Or behind another person. Oh, so I hit this person on the way to hitting that person. But now I've used all my action points. So again, I'm not sure where my action points are tracked. So, or is it saying, it says 3 AP next to the action. And it also says attack costs 3. Does that mean... Is one of them telling me how many I have, the other one telling me how much it costs? Or... Okay. Yeah, maybe... No, I'm really not sure. Maybe these are my action points and these are my movement points? Let's end the turn. Okay, yeah, so when I'm trying to move, I can see the movement points down at the bottom are highlighting to show how many I'll use. So like let's go over here. And that will use all of my movement points. And then, yes, okay, my action... So I have 4 action points. They're the blue ones down at the bottom. But it's weird. So I expected a little bit more, like, help from color coding or symbolism or something like that. Like, nothing in my... Like, where it says AP costs 3, where it says 3 AP, none of those are pointing out that a pale blue square is what an action point is. And I think if there was more of a connection between the action point down below and the action points where the costs are listed, that would help me a lot. Okay, so I missed because I'm too close, I think, right? I didn't actually look at the percentage. Oh, it is 66%. That's now 66%. Critical fail? What? So do I have to actually defeat all of these things to be done? I need to reload now. Okay, reload. That costs 1 action point, which I don't have. Do I have fewer action... I have fewer action points now. Why? What changed? Do I just get fewer over time? Okay, I took that one out. This one's got a lot of... Oh, there we go. Okay, so when I was too close, my damage potential was low with this one. But once I backed up, my damage potential went up. Interesting. Not bad, mate. Can't say mate in an American accent either. Okay, we've done that. We've learned a little bit about how combat works. So let's get out here. So I won't be able to... Let's see here. Oh, I need to refill the water in the bathtub. Where's the bathtub? Did I miss the bathtub? Let's scan around here and see if we can see a bathtub. There it is. This must be the bathtub. Where do we get water?
There's only a small amount of dry. You quickly fill the tub, providing clean drinking water for those noble beasts. You're already a hero, a real hero.
Okay, so I need to report back to Dreamer. So we'll report back to Dreamer, finish that up, then we'll do our little tour around the outside. Maybe that'll get me into some trouble.
That's bloody fantastic. Here you go. You saved me a ton of trouble. Later.
Yay, I got a water bottle. Okay. So let's go outside and, like, walk around the fort. So I'm looking for places where there are, like, breaches. A lot of bugs. What do you reckon it is? Dingoes. Okay, so we found a hole. I want to fight a dingo. Like, why play a game set in Australia if you don't get to fight a dingo? So I'm pointing out a loose spot in the fence. All right, so we found 2 problems. Hey there, Rogue Dimension. So the Coalition says that he really likes these graphics. Yeah, it's got definitely a look of its own. Oh, here's something. All right, yeah, so looks like we found 3 breaches, but no fights. All right, looks like we're about ready to go. So we'll keep going around here. Rogue Dimension says this game has given me Fallout 2 vibes. If we're ever to get a remaster, yeah, like if Fallout 2 were to get a remaster, it could look something like this. Yeah, so yeah, it was on a hex grid. There's no particular reason it would have to be on a hex grid, if you sort of rebuilt it from scratch. It's tough because Fallout 2 was actually one of the games that made me want to be a game designer. I loved that game so much when I played it originally. I actually would have a lot of trouble playing it now, just because all of my expectations from games have shifted over time with modern games as they've sort of been updated, and it'd be a lot harder for me, I think, to play a game like Fallout 2 today, just for purely just tactile reasons. The game would just feel weird to play. Yeah, folks are agreeing this looks like Fallout 2. I think that because of the circles under your characters and the way you're sort of moving around smoothly in this sort of open space rather than being on a hex grid, this makes me think a lot more of like the Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale games, rather than Fallout. When do you want to head out? The scouts don't have a working radio then. Till we get this modulator sorted. Might as well learn how to use passenger pigeons or reflecting mirrors or something. Mirrors are great in the daytime. Well, sunny daytime, but kind of worthless at night and cloudy days. So yeah, we need to get to Kokobee for a new part.
We'll have plenty of time to chat on the way to Kokobee.
All right. So, what do I need to do? Return to Jake. Is that Jake?
You're having your chin wags with everyone. How you finding Ella? She's rough around the edges, but then we all are.
All right, so we're going to head out.
You done?
And let's get moving. All right, and again, I would normally be reading all of this dialogue if I were playing this game on my own, but I just really am feeling anxious
Not
to
even an hour away from Valley Hall.
get to this.
On a makeshift cart on the road. A man lies motionless on the ground. A sobbing woman cradles his body.
So I got to decide who I'm going to ask about this. And Ella is the more, I don't know if she was Machiavellian, but she's a little bit harder around the edges. Dreamer's one.
Worst day of her life.
Yeah.
And the kid's not too crush hot either. Let's hear their stories and try to stop anything worse from happening.
The young man sitting off the side of the road is rocking back and forth, a pistol held unheeded in one hand. Neither he...
Things could get dicey. Hang back while we check this out.
You got it, boss.
Okay, so something happened here. It looks like this person probably shot that person, maybe by accident? He's a solid 7, would have been an 8, but for the hole in his chest? So I'll tell her everything's going to be all right.
And what would you know?
Oh, that was a bad move.
What are you even doing here? Why now? Why not before he... before...
Okay, so I said nothing, and now Ella steps forward. Okay, so I screwed it up already, so I'm just letting Ella talk. My son shot Greg. What's your son's name?
Will.
It's Will, same as his granddad. Okay, so let's go talk to Will. Why did Will shoot Greg?
Stay back. I've got a gun.
Yeah, what type? Okay. So I'll try to keep him calm as a humanist. Let's see how that works. He says, I just killed someone. I could kill you too. So what? I've killed tons of people. If you wanted to kill me, you would have done it already. Why don't you put the gun down? I don't want to hurt you, but I will. Just stay away from me. Hey, let's just have a chat, all right? It's like, I've got this, Mishti. Let me talk to him. No. I'll let Dreamer do it. It's fine. She seems to be the expert. He killed his own dad, all because he what? You're not responsible for what your dad did, Will.
No, it wasn't like that. He asked me to.
Oh,
Said
his
he
dad.
was holding me and Mum back. I'll
Oh.
never make it to Meriden at this rate, so I shouldn't even be alive.
Okay, so the dad asked him to kill him, and it's traumatized him for life. Shoot him in the leg. Wait. Rush him. None of these look good. She won't make it if you're dead. You know that, Will. I wonder if he would have succeeded if I'd rushed him. Okay, so we've taken the gun from him. Can we leave them some food and water? You can. Just do it. Fast, we're moving out. All right. Hope you make it to Meriden. All right. So I wonder how much of the game is going to be these, like, dialogue-driven more... Oh, whoa, I just clicked something by accident. So I wonder, is the game going to be mostly that?
Welcome to Kirkby Way Station. Now we've got Cole here. All we need to do is wait for Mick to arrive, and escort the two of them back to Brookton.
There he goes. Never a dull moment with Cole around.
Oi, Tiny!
Okay. So, we got about 10 minutes left before I really want to end the episode, and we haven't gotten into any kind of fights yet, which I understand, like, this might not be a fight-heavy game. It might consciously be a mostly dialogue-heavy, moral choice-making, storytelling game, which is totally fine. And it's not a knock against the game if I can't get into a fight really fast. I guess I'm just like, I just kind of wanted to see how all the systems worked. And so we've seen me making, you know, moral choices in dialogue, or at least strategic choices in dialogue. And I want to see how the whole thing plays out.
Welcome to Kirkby, stranger.
All right, so now we're introduced. We're looking for radio parts. Aha! Pest problem.
Well, we hired a mercenary in Mason.
Okay.
I want you to convince him to move on.
So,
Or terrorize someone else. And to stop being such a fucking crybaby.
Okay, so they hired a guy to be a mercenary to guard the place, and he has become obnoxious. And so we now need to convince him to move on.
Go sit on a rusty spike and rotate, you old filthy bastard. So yeah, I want him gone, thanks.
I do like her uniform. Is this like a train uniform? Okay, cool. I guess...
Looking forward to your problem-solving capacities.
So when she said I have a pest problem, I think that was kind of a joke, like, because so many times the first person you talk to in an RPG says, I have a pest problem. I need you to go kill rats in my cellar to teach you how the combat system works. It's funny that she started there, but actually she needs me to talk a guy into leaving town or to stop being obnoxious, which is like, I don't know. I think that's pretty funny. It's not helping me make combat happen, but it's still... Who is this? What? Who is this man? I need to understand. Maybe I don't. All right.
What do you want, sweetheart? Looking for a real man to show you how to use a gun?
Oh, shut up. Okay, so... Ever thought of joining up with the scouts? Need a hand? So we could just say Tina wants you to move on. Let's try sweetening the deal. That ramshackle outfit? Rather kiss my own face with a tire iron. Spell it with a Y. Tire with a Y. Okay. So, what's your deal? My deal? I'm the only thing standing between these bogans and slow death in the sun. There'd be no Kokobee if I wasn't protecting the whole place. Everyone would be too scared to set up shop. Like you and whoever crawled out of under a rock to limp here. Actually, I'm pretty sure protecting the people and places around here is what we do. Okay, so yeah, I thought maybe I could, like, you know, be sneaky about it, but no, I think Tina wants you to move on. She hired me, and I'm keeping up my end of the bargain. Protecting Kokobee. I can't make you leave, but you're wasting your talents here, don't you think? There's plenty of places. Gotta be something you want, mate. What can we do to convince you? Let's try the utilitarian approach. But I think that wouldn't have been available if I hadn't already defined myself as utilitarian. I have a contract. A merc's word is his worth. If I go back on that, I'll never work again. You'll never get work again if you're dead either. Then make up a new name, like Dirk Angersword or Guns McSteel. Okay, so I can attack him, but that just... Why did this not say nihilist on it or something? Like, this is such a weird thing. Okay, make up a new name. Look, the only way I'm leaving is if you pay out my contract. He jabs it, $50 cash or that gun of yours. Which will it be? I keep trying to do little fragments of the accent. It's not working. Here's $50. I don't have that much. It's all yours if you leave this place and don't come back. I'm not giving you anything. How about the cost of a few bullets instead? Okay, if you leave now, I won't tell the scouts and everyone else that you're terrible. You made your point.
I was getting bored of this shithole anyway. Good luck protecting the place without me.
Okay, so I could have attacked him just to see the combat system. That didn't seem like it would actually be a fair representation of the combat system. It's like 3 against 1 out in the open. So might as well
What can I do for you?
might as well play this game the way I think it really does want to be played. She was hoping for some violence too. We still could. You're the cheeky one, aren't you? Okay. Thanks again. Give her a low 5. So she holds out her hand to shake mine, and I'm going to slap it. We're absolutely doing that.
No backsies. That means we're mates now.
somebody was having fun writing this. I think that's one of the main things that I'm taking away from this is somebody really enjoyed writing this story. Anyway, I don't know. Let's get out of here because.
Hello there, Tina.
Oh,
Lovely
what?
as the day is long, as always.
I would have been here sooner, but, well, let's just say it's been an eventful day.
Okay, so this is Mick and somebody else, and let's work together to restore civilization. Okay, great. I just want to actually end this
Let's
because
finish up and get on the road.
this, let's see, okay, so what is my next thing I'm trying to do? Talk to Mick to travel to Brookton. Okay, so we've been playing for almost an hour, and I feel like the game, I mean, this game does have a combat system. We explored it in the shooting gallery, but it seems like it's the kind of game that's actually wanting to push in a different direction, to have combat be available, to have this be a world where the stakes are high, because you can get into fights and you can be killed, and you can have... Whoa! Kangaroo! Kangaroo! Did you see that? It was behind my head. I don't know if you can see that there's a kangaroo. Anyway, just... This is the most Australian game ever made. Anyway... But it looks like the game actually just, its ambition is not to be some combat game. It seems like its ambition is to be a game where you tell stories and make choices and see the consequences of your choices and define yourself as a certain kind of person in the apocalypse. And combat is, it's part of the necessary sort of like background context for that, but it's not really the focus of the game. So maybe getting into the combat system is not what I need to do to understand what this game is. So, La Coalición says, is this regular Australia or post-apocalypse Australia? Well, you know, the joke is, what's the difference? But, there you go. Yeah, so no, this does look like it is meant to be full-on post-apocalypse Australia. Yeah, I mean, people, you know, I don't think that people usually live in, like, ramshackle forts in the middle of the wilderness. In modern, current Australia, as much as you need to keep the spiders out, and it takes a big, tall wall to keep out the 4-foot spiders. But as I understand Australia from afar, and the drop bears are a big danger. You gotta keep away from. But yeah, no, I don't think this is actually how Australia is. But yeah, okay, so. I have to go because I need to take my daughter to piano lessons. So this is how much time I had for this game right now. But it's interesting, right? And I mean, we spent a lot of time at the beginning looking at this, the moral system and stuff like that. Like, clearly a lot of thought has gone into this. And so if this is the type of game you're into, you want to see, take it further and see where these folks were going with this, go right ahead. You can find it on Steam. It is called Broken Roads. In the meantime, I don't know, I'll put some links to other games up there, and you can also check those out if you want to.